I'll get the share going. Let me share with the on that. All right, you all can see the screen, correct? You can see the presentation screen, hopefully. Lauren's shaking her head, so that's good. All right, well, as usual, I will go ahead and I will pray, and then we will get going into our discussion of APA format. Something you'll need tonight to make some things different, but let's get started. Father, you're good. We were reminded a couple weeks ago of the swiftness of our lives. They are as a vapor, with the death of Kobe, and we ask that even as we go through this course, you would allow us to remember that we are the gospel givers and that our ability to communicate the same would be strengthened herein. We love you. Amen. Okay, so here's what you're going to need for tonight. Thank you to those who have joined. Tonight, you're going to need your APA workshop document with the answers filled in, and you're going to upload that document as your notes. So if you've done it, great. That is going to be what needs to be uploaded. And you can also take some extra notes on that document, but everybody is going to need to upload that, whether or not you were here. Just go ahead and upload that document that was filled out. And you're going to need a writer's reference and the APA tab. Now, I'll show you where that is for those of you who don't know. This is what it looks like, the APA tab. There you go. That's what it is. It's on, as it says, page 477 and 478 are the actual first pages of it. But the hard tab is 76, 75. So you can have that out because we'll actually be using it a lot tonight as well. So tonight is more give and take than any of the other, synchronous sessions that we've had so far. So I'm excited about that. Less me, more you. So with your paper, you're going to submit a separate document. There's links to your sources if you've added sources to the bibliography, but I'm not supposing that you have. I'm supposing you've done what you need to do. I'm not supposing you have. But even if you've added sources, that's fine. It's not a big deal. Just go ahead and send those over. In that document, please provide the links. Please provide the sources that you would have added. Let's keep going here. So comparison, contrast, reminders. So there's guidelines you need to review. You can do that by looking videos, PowerPoints. There's instructions under paper documents. There are some things you need to know, such as 750 words. Please do not make me turn the paper back into you and say, this does not meet minimum qualifications, so I will not grade it. And your highest grade is not going to be anything higher than a C because you didn't meet the minimums the first time. So please do meet the minimums the first time around. Make sure that you've done at least that, of course. Let's see sample argument paper for sample references page. So if you're trying to figure out the references page and you can't, go to the argument paper that's sample there for you and look at what they've done. You'll see the template for it, or look in your book, of course. Your book has a sample references page too. On page number, I'll find that now because we'll even use it tonight. Page number 535 and 536 is a sample references page for you. And any comments made about the source citations on the AB. The AB will be getting back to you tomorrow. I've had to put some other things first, including keeping up with some of the rest of your work, but the AB will be getting back to you tomorrow. Don't expect a ton of source comments on that unless you have poor sources, in which case I can work with you if you need to get new ones, but I'm not expecting it because I approved the sources that I saw on the quality of sources. I'm expecting this annotated bibliography to be more of just a stage, a completion grade. So first page of the paper, just so you know, the argument paper has a full, formal APA format title page with a header. The paper you're turning in soon, though, the comparison contrast paper, does not have those things. It has the header, which is on the sample paper. So please see the sample paper of the comparison contrast to know what your first page should look like. It is not the same as what will be on your argumentative paper later. But both papers do have a references page. If you're not knowing what a references page is by this point, we should have a conversation. And the references page will be the final page of your paper. So talking through the paper, anybody with questions so far, unmute yourself. Specifically questions on the comparison contrast paper? Anybody here with questions on it? Looks like I got Megan, Tim, Josh, Hannah, Lauren, Megan. I just said those names twice. It's not many, but more for the rest of us. Okay, so moving on then, we're going to use various, at Maranatha, whatever college you wind up attending, now hopefully, of course, it's Maranatha, there will be different styles that you possibly could use. In this course, we focus on APA because, in large part, that's what many of the classes you would be going into would ask for. However, you might use MLA, you might use Turabian. MLA is usually in English, usually in the humanities. APA is often in the math and science realm. And then there's Chicago, which is CMS Turabian. This one is often seen in theology or heavy history papers, perhaps even journalism. And a writer's reference, as you see, there are multiple tabs in writer's reference. And the one that you're going to be focusing on for us, of course, is APA. But you could be coming into another class where you'll actually use a different reference. And so this will be a nice, another formatting. And so this will be a nice handbook for you to have around for a while. Now, I will say, APA just changed from APA 6 to APA 7, which means they published the 7th edition. And that was just before the Christmas break, I believe. So it is, it's not unheard of that happens. And when it does happen, it is, we don't like it because we have to go out and get new handbooks as teachers, but at the same time, when they update, they do it for good reasons, and things become usually a little bit easier. So anyway, all that being said, this is APA 6. The APA 7 changes are not huge, and this book will work for you in the long run. So there are some guides for you. There's the reference page instructions handout that you can look at, and there's the APA in-text citation guide. Both of these are provided for you under course documents. I believe paper document somewhere in there. Actually, no, they're right here. APA format resources on the courses sidebar. I'm sorry, I forgot where they were. But you can find those helps there. Again, I've had some people question why they got points off on their quotation practice, and come to realize, by the way, I leave comments and feedback, so if you're not seeing feedback, please email me and I'll let you know what happened. But keeping the period outside of the citation, that's something we'll cover tonight, and that's something that you should be making sure you're doing, along with other things. But the quotation practice gave you some of that help earlier. So what we're going to do right now is going to have a bit of an APA scavenger hunt. Whoever has the answer, just chime in, unmute yourself and chime in, and you will win all kinds of brownie points from me for knowing the right answer. If I don't have enough volunteers to start calling on people, so let's go ahead and make this happen. So somebody tell me, what font and font size should you be using at all times for all things you turn into me?
Times New Roman and 12.
Boom, boom, Josh and Megan just nailed it. Yeah, Times New Roman 12-point font, you got it. What kind of source page ends the paper? Works cited, references page, or bibliography?
Reference.
You got it, it's the references page. A works cited page would be MLA, the references page is APA, and the bibliography is a general term for something else. What type of citations? I'll call on somebody this time, make it a little easier. What type of citations? Footnotes, endnotes, or in text? Megan, which ones do we have for APA? Footnotes, endnotes, or in text citations?
In text.
You got it, they're in text. We don't deal with footnotes or endnotes in APA. What 3 pieces of information belong in an APA in text citation? So if you're quoting somebody, if Josh is quoting Lauren, in fact, we'll get this one to Lauren. If Josh is quoting you, what 3 things would you expect to see in Josh's paper, Lauren, when he quotes something that you said in your book that you'll write someday that'll be amazing?
Author, date, and title.
Author, date, which is year published, and not title, but author, date, and page number. Page number. Author, date, page number. You there with me? Can you hear me? Everybody's screens are frozen, so I'm wondering as though you can hear me right now. If somebody can hear me, go ahead and just let me know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, good. You're there with
Yeah.
me. Thank you. If the author's name is in the text, which means in the signal phrase, in the text itself, outside of the citation, does the name need to appear in the parenthetical citation? So again, if Josh is quoting Lauren and Josh says, Lauren states the following, and then he gives the quotation, does he need to put her name in the ending citation? Josh, what do you think? Yes or no? All right, looks like one of us is going in or out, so I'm just going to go ahead and skip through that. Oh, welcome, Jacob. But no, please do not repeat the name. Go ahead and give it in the signal phrase or in the citation, but you don't need to do both. So a few more questions. Actually, Jacob, you just got here. Can you hear me, Jacob? Or I think you just got here.
Yep.
You can hear me, Jacob? Good. Okay, so here's this question's for you. If you cite the same source twice in one paragraph, do you say it differently the second time?
No.
Good try. The answer is yes. And the second citation is different because you would provide the author name, the page number, but you wouldn't provide a date. So if Josh is writing about something that Lauren wrote, the first time he gives the quote, he would provide Lauren's name, page number, date. But the next time, if he's writing about something Lauren wrote, within the body of the paper, not in the citation, with the body of the paper, he does not need to include the year again, the date. So there is a difference, and it comes down to date. So again, quick recap. If you're citing the same source twice in a paragraph, you do cite it differently. You just don't have to include the date the second time around. If it's in the body, not in the citation. Do you use commas in the citation? Dave, good to have you with us. Dave, do you use commas in the citation? I'm not sure if it's everybody's slow or just me that's slow tonight, but moving on. Yes, good. Yeah, we do use commas in the citation. We use commas between the elements of the name, comma, date, which is the year, comma, page. Good. Does the citation come before or after the period of the sentence? Does the citation come before or after the period of the sentence? Lauren, what do you think? What do you know?
Yeah. I'd say, yeah, it's part of the same thought.
But does it come
Yes.
before or after the period at the end of the sentence?
Before the period, because it's part of the same thought.
Yes, good. I'm sorry I didn't hear the first time, but before. So here's an example. So why are evolutionists opposed to fairness in this idea? Matthew Bowden maybe. Notice we have his name. And then immediately we have the year following it. Now, a lot of you, when you were giving me your paraphrase activities just recently, your synthesis activities, you totally forgot to do this. You forgot to give me the author and the year following, or you provided author, year, title with a period after it. That's not how these things should look at all. So please do go back and look at those practice activities. But here, as we go, we see that the page number is provided way over here at the end, because all of this is one sentence. And being one sentence, we only need to provide the author, date, and page number one time in that sentence. So here's another example of that. If the author's name didn't appear in the sentence, this citation would be placed right here, and it would be author, date, page number. Notice there's commas, there's a period after the P. If you had more than one page, you'll be writing the double P, That's horrible. Let me try that again. You'll be writing a double P, period, and then, you know, page 117 through 119. Okay, moving on. When does the APA use block quotations? When are you supposed to use block quotations?
Yes.
When does the APA use block quotations? Anybody?
Isn't it for like a longer section of quoted text?
Exactly. Did my screen change for everybody yet? Can you still see?
Like 40 words or over?
That's exactly right. 40 words or more. Can you see the question I just asked as well as the answer now? Actually, I don't have the answer up yet for me. Okay. Can you see the question I just asked with the answer now, everybody? Sorry, there's some kind of lag going on apparently.
All I'm seeing is the slide that says.
Yeah. I don't see anything either.
Yeah, it's just.
All I see is the slide that says using various styles.
Me too. That's all I see.
Oh, my screen share is paused. Resume share. How about that? Does that work now? I don't know why it would have done that. Where are you at now? What can you see now?
AP formatting with, then there's a bunch of stuff at the top. A bunch of pictures on the left going down.
All right, so I'm back on my, let me pull up a new screen share here. Let's see, let's make this happen. Screen one. All right, how about now?
That's better.
Better? Okay, so now you can see the answer. When does the quotation is more than 40, when the quotation is more than 40 words? The only video I can see is, well, I can't even see Megan's now. If it's more than 4 lines long, count. Now, you have been asked to use or to avoid using many block quotations. It's because this paper is shorter. So I'd ask you to keep it shorter than 40 words. 1, yes, don't give me more than 1. But when you are creating a block quotation, and again, you can find these answers in your book. When you are creating a block quotation, does the period come before or after the citation? You can find this on page 488.
The punctuation is inside the page number, or is inside the citation?
It comes before the citation, which is to say, there's an example of this, I believe it's shown to you later. But there is no, so you would provide the citation if you have a block quotation, as you see on page 488, which that's actually a bad one because they don't give you the citation. You'll notice there's no page number at the bottom of 488, which stinks. So that's maybe not the best one to look at. But in any case, you're going to give the only time you put the period before the citation is if you're providing a block quotation. And at that point, you put it before. I'm going to work with you on things like this because this is getting into the nitty-gritty. But these aren't things you should just do, quote unquote, by the seat of your pants. These are things which you should do purposefully and having looked in your book to try and figure out. ask me if you need to. I will be more than happy to help you, especially with things like this. This is really getting into the nitty-gritty of APA, and we're not expecting you to be masters of APA, but we are expecting you to do your best and work on it. So is the spacing of block quotations single or double? This is kind of a trick question. Because it's the same spacing as all the rest of the paper.
Double.
Is it?
Yep, it's double. And does the block quotation use quotation marks? The answer is going to be no. You don't use quotation marks in the block quotation. It's set off far enough. It's a whole inch indented that, and it's left aligned. It's set off long enough that you do not need to worry about quotation marks to stand off. It stands off by itself enough. So what is the spacing with a references page entry? Single or double? Again, this should be easy because we just said it. It's all double spaced. What's the spacing between entries on a reference entry? Double. Everything's double. Should you have a separate title page when using APA for the argumentative paper? The answer is, wish I could see faces because then I could just do head nods, but I don't have anybody's video up right now, so I can't even see your faces. So I'll wait for the first one to tell me. Should you have a separate page title when you are using APA, usually like our second paper?
Yeah.
Yes, you should, but not on the first paper because the comparison contrast paper is different. So we're asking you to see page 525 of the writer's reference, and there's no author note on your title page. Even when you do make a title page, you won't need an author's note for your argumentative paper. So where does the page number go for an APA paper?
Top right corner, starting on page 2.
Starting on page 1 in APA, actually. So every page in APA will have a page number on it, and it'll start on top right in the header feature. So please do use that. And there's other things that go in an APA header. Can anybody tell me what they are?
Is it the paper title and the page number?
It is the running head. Yep. It is the running head, and on page 1, it says running head : paper title all in caps, and then for the rest of the pages, it'll just be paper title. You won't have running head in the top left. It'll just say paper title. And again, you can look at the sample paper to see these sort of things, or you can go in your book right now to page number 4, or excuse me, not 4, 525, and you will see an example of the running head on page 525. The running head of the paper, which is right up here, with the page number 1. And then you'll see on second and subsequent pages, there's just the title with no running head. Now, sometimes you'll need to abbreviate the title if it's too long, and of course the page number is on the right side. And how is the paper justified? In Microsoft Word, there are 3 options for justification: left, justified, and right. Which one are you choosing? These papers should all be blank justified.
Left justified.
Left justified, you got it, good job. And here's an example of that. By the way, you can tell something is left justified by the fact that the right edge is, we call it jagged. If the right edge was a solid line, which imagine that's solid, and all of the words met the line, we would say that's justified. Because you can notice how these are all flat. These are all on the same line. That's left justified. If left and right are both hard, right or left, we call it justified. But this is going to be, as it says, this is the first page of the comparison contrast paper with the 4-line header, your last name, page number, title. But that is not the title, that's not the first page of the argument paper. The argument paper is going to look like this: running head with the title and the page number, and then these four, well, actually these 3 lines. Notice, is creationism and evolution the entire title? No, it's not. They have used a section of their title and made it into their running head. And when you get to the second page, you'll notice we no longer have running head in front of the paper, in front of the title. We simply have the title. There we go. So that's the title page. That's all that. We need to keep moving because we do have quite a bit of ways yet to go. In fact, I'm going to move through these quickly so we get to our the second set of our slides tonight. In general, should you include the date of the retrieval you found in a source for internet sources and databases? It's not necessary to have a retrieved from date, especially with APA 7. We don't look for retrieved from dates anymore, so don't worry about retrieved from dates. Do you include authors' full names on the references page? No, you don't. It's last name, complete, with just your first and middle initials. Oftentimes, you won't even see a middle initial, just be first initial and last name. That's what you use. Our book title is italicized, quoted, or underlined. Folks, remember, you learned when you were in high school how you're supposed to set off poems and movie titles and names of ships and things like that in an English sentence. Please don't leave that at the. Please do not leave that at the door. Bring that with you. You need to, if you're going to tell me that there was an article written, well, that articles have a specific way they're supposed to be set off in the rest of the sentence. Books the same. You're supposed to italicize a book title. So please do italicize the book title when you're doing your writing. Our journal, here we go, another example. Our journal, magazine, newspaper titles, italicized, quoted, or underlined. We're supposed to italicize them. So these works should be, like the Washington Post, these should be italicized. On the references pages, what do you do with an article title? Italics, underline, quotation marks, none of the above. Well, you're going to put it none of the above. It's simply going to be the article title by itself with no, I underline it, but I shouldn't have done that. It's just going to be the title by itself. There's no quotation marks. There's no underlining, just the article. If it is an article title, and again, that's only on the references page. If you refer to it in the body of the text, then it should be in quotation marks. But on the references page, to save the crazy eyes that look at it, it's just presented. Capitalizing. Journals, magazines, and newspapers should be capitalized, and you should capitalize as normal names. So for example, the American Journal of Medicine, we have the opening word, all major words, but not prepositions or articles. Should you capitalize books and article titles? You capitalize the first word after the colon, and any proper nouns that happen to be there, such as Pride and Prejudice, westward expansion. Notice here we have pride, but we have not underlined, we do not have the second major word underlined. It's just the first word after the colon, and any proper nouns. So first word after the colon, proper nouns. Okay, books and article titles are capitalized uniquely in APA. Each source you use in your paper requires 2 citations. The first one comes in the body, the second on the references page. Folks, don't lose this point. I don't know where it started, but there was a string of English teachers somewhere that told students to just put whatever they looked at on their references page. That is wrong. That's wrong. Do not do that. If it's in one, it has to be in the other, and vice versa. If you're going to talk about Smith in the body of your paper, you have to give me a reference page citation. If you're going to put it in your reference page citation, there needs to be an in-text citation in your paper. Okay, so each of the following slides, and this is the second part of the night, each of the following slides contains a paraphrase, summary, or quote, and the documentation information that goes with it. What you're going to do is you're going to actually put those together and tell me what it's supposed to look like. So if you want to turn to page 493 of your writer's reference, we're actually going to do some practice now. And 493 gives you some in-text citations that will help you and guide you, as well as the rest of the section there. So for example, here we go. Here's the basic quotation format. You got the title, you got the page number, the author, date. Lauren, start us off. Please tell us what should be in the ending parenthetical citation of this quotation format, or of this in-text citation.
Author and page number.
Author and page number. Now, if it's author and page number, that means that that nowhere else in the sentence we have the author's name. Do we see the author's name in here anywhere?
Oops, sorry. Yep.
There
A
you
little
go.
slow tonight.
No problem, you're fine. So we have the author's name here, and we have the date here, so author, and we have date. The only thing left is page number, so page 37. As you can see here, we have page 37. Good. Thank you for being the first one, Lauren. Megan, you're next. You're going to have a work with two authors. Here it is. Here we see insecticide journal article, insecticide journals article. This is the article title. Actually, I'm sorry, I messed up there. Let me go back. This is the article title. Gives excellent advice. Always use sugar. So this is the quote right here. Who made this quote? Who made this quote, or what should go here in this in-text citation, Megan?
Maple and leaf.
So yes, we do need Maple and Leaf. Those are the ones who made the quote. So yeah, those will be in here. But what else needs to be in here?
2011 and page 244.
245, you got it. There you go. Maple and Leaf, 2011. Notice the use of the ampersand. We do not write out A and D when we are working with these in-text citations or references page. Heads up on that. Placement of dates. So the date always goes with the author's name, such as, what you'll see here. Well, I guess we won't see it here. Page numbers always goes with the author's name. If the author's name is in the sentence, date will come immediately after it in parentheses. If the author's name is in the parenthetical, the date will be there as well. Page number always goes in parenthetical citation at the end, no matter where you are in the sentence. The parenthetical should go at the end of the sentence with the page number. So now we have 3 to 5 authors. Here's the line. Let's see, who else is up tonight? Let's see, Hannah. Hannah, give me please what should be here in the signal phrase. We've got the page number, so that means we only need 2 pieces of information as we begin this. What 2 pieces of information would you put in there?
The Aleph, Coates, and Jones.
Good.
And then the 2015.
So we have Aleph, comma, Coates, comma, and Jones. And then we have 2015. Let's see if she's right. She's correct. Good job. That's what it should look like. Notice the page number comes at the end because it's after the quotation. Notice because we have these 3, if we cited it further, we would use Aleph et al. Here. Or if we cited it later, like over here, we would just use the et al. Construction for 3 to 5 authors. So now we have 6 or more authors. Okay, what do we do with 6 or more authors for this quote right here? Let's go, Jacob, you're up. What do we do with 6 or more authors? We have the page number, so we're missing 2 pieces of information now. What do we do? You can look at page number 495, number 5. If you need some help. All right, Tim, can you help him out? Can you help Jacob out? What should we put here in this section? What are we missing? We've got the page number, so what should go?
Sam.
Oh, everybody's talking now. Jacob, I'll go back to Jacob. Let me go back to Jacob. Jacob, if you have it, I'll give it to you. Oh, we just lost Jacob. Jacob's gone. Okay, so Tim, try again.
Sand et al. 2002.
You got it. Sand et al. 2002. Why is that? Because we have the 6 or more authors, which means we immediately begin with the et al. There we go. Okay, work with an unknown author. So for instance, here, what would go in the parentheses here? Tim, we just asked you. Josh, you're up. What would we put here in the parentheses? So we have an unknown author, because all we have is the article title, page number.
Is it the article title and then the date?
And one more thing, we always have 3 things in APA.
And the page numbers.
Good
right?
job, you got it. Yep. Now, notice the entire title is Ferret Fancy, but here we've only chosen to use the first word. Is that okay? The answer is yes. You may shorten the article title in order to make it easier for your in-text citation. Sometimes you have article titles that are 5, 6, 7, 10 words long. Using the first 1, 2, 3 words is most appropriate. Here, I wouldn't even mind here if you put Ferret Fancy, the entire title in here, because that's not really all that long. Yes, so notice we did change that. So this is a web source with no page number. So we have an author, we have a paragraph number, and we have a year. Okay, we've included the author, so that's good. Author's done. We've included the year. Okay, that's good, that's done. What should go right here? What should go here at the end? Dave, what should go here at the end? Is Dave gone now? No, he's here. What should go at the end, Dave?
The paragraph number?
Yes, you should include the paragraph number, but there's actually something else you'll want to include as well. You'll want to include both of these pieces. For example, the bug number increase. If you read it, it says titles of short works such as articles. Actually, back up. If the author is unknown, mention the work's title in the signal phrase, or give the first word to the title in the parentheses. Titles of short works such as articles are put in quotation marks. Of long works such as books and reports are italicized, which that helps us a little bit. But just realize we have a paragraph. We have a paragraph, which is our marker here, but we also are given a heading. So it could be that we're on, if we have paragraph number 2 later on, we don't know what heading, which this paragraph came under. So really, if you're going to give anything besides a page number, the idea is give as much as you have. So here we have a heading, give the heading as well. So there's an example of that. Okay, so here's a couple of hints. Please don't use a paragraph number alone. If there's no headers, use the web page title as the paragraph title. If you find a PDF file, you should have a page number, as you'll treat the source as a print source and include page numbers. So there you go. All right, so here again, we have authors' names, Brown, White. We have a web page title, a website title. We have a heading. We don't have a date. Okay, what's missing here? We have the heading and the paragraph. What are we missing here? What are the pieces of the APA in-text citation we need up here? Whoever wants to jump in.
Brown and white, comma.
You were on the right track. I'm thinking you made it through. Brown and white, left parentheses, N period, D period. Yes, you got it. And N period, D period stands for no date. Okay, so here's some personal communication. I actually used this in my dissertation when I was interviewing the president of a school association. We do not put these in the reference section, just in the paper itself, just the in-text citation. But what should this look like? What should be here in this in-text citation? You can find this number 15 on page 497. Let's go with Megan again. Megan, what should go here?
B. Smith, comma, personal communication, comma, November 2nd, comma, 2000.
You nailed it. Good job. We don't need to add in-text citations. We never have the first name. Don't worry about that. But Smith, comma, personal communication, comma, November 2nd, comma, 2005. And in this case, we do include the entirety of the date because there is no place on the references page to include any of this. All right. A source quoted another source. Great. This is fun. So-and-so as quoted in. What are you going to do for a source quoted in another source? So this would be, I think this would be on page 18. Yeah, page 18. What are you going to do for a source quoted in another source? Lauren, why don't you pick this one up? You've been helping us out tonight. This is a harder one. So what are you going to do for this one?
Oh boy. As cited in.
Good.
And then is it the journal or
Nope.
the article title?
Nope. What?
Comma. No. Okay. The author.
Yep. The author. You got it. So as cited in Shoe Lover.
Comma the date. Comma the page.
Very good. And what will precede the pages? What abbreviation shows multiple pages?
Can you rephrase the question?
What abbreviation shows multiple pages?
Oh,
If you said P, you got it. It's saying my internet connection's unstable right now, so I'm sorry if that's what caused you not to be able to hear me. But yes, as cited in Shoe Lover, so this is the author, the year, PP is more than one page. There we go. The final page of your paper is going to look like what I'm about to show you, and what you can find in your book, and what you can find online, and what you can find on the website. There's many places to see the references page for an APA paper, so there's no excuse for you turning in something that doesn't look like it should look. So you're going to list your sources in alphabetical order. There are guidelines, and it's going to be numbered continuously the rest of the paper, so the little page number at the top right will be numbered as though it's the next page in the paper. For example, here's the continuing page number. We have B, B, F, H, M. That's correct. Notice if they're both the same, well, in any case, notice here we have the first word, not proper, not proper, not proper, not proper, not proper, not proper. So that's good. First word, not proper, not proper, proper noun. So there are, here you have first word, no proper noun. First word after the subtitle, no proper noun. So there are times, of course, when, as we said earlier, you need to capitalize your titles differently. Here is another, this is the comparison contrast reference page. Notice last name page number, that is a comparison contrast formatting, but that changes when you get to the argument paper. Then you'll have the running header with the page that it is. A big thing to note here is, of course, the indent. Please make sure that you are providing that indent for second and subsequent lines. Some of you ask me, okay, how do I do the 0 before, 0 after double spacing? well, I got to show it to you in Microsoft Word because that's where you're going to go. But here is the 0 before. First of all, what you can't see here is if this command window wasn't here, right about here behind it, there's the word paragraph. But when you click on that, this nice text box opens up. You want to make sure that before a 0 and after a 0, and that the line spacing is double spaced. Once you've done that, if you're on your references page, you're going to want to hit this drop down arrow and select all of the references you've created. And then this says special. I'm going to draw it. I'm going to use this. Oh, look at that. I did it. You want the, oh, I'm sorry. It says special, but you don't want that one. You want hanging. I wrote the wrong word. You want the hanging indent. So either you're going to do it manually or you're going to use Microsoft Word, but you want the hanging indent, which is on the drop-down menu of this special. I can walk you through that if need be. There's YouTube videos about it if there need be. It takes some doing, but I can help you out with it. Please just let me know. Here's some general reminders, and we are almost done. Please choose good sources. That helps. Make sure you've walked through your sources carefully, because sometimes you might choose a source you think is great, but then you realize it's not so useful for you. Choose citations that give specific support to your points. So please don't come up with your point without reading sources. Read your sources and then come up with your point so that you have a, so that it's not the words you want to put into your argument, but rather the words in the argument someone else has previously made. Spread your citations out. Please do not overdo citations at any one single point. Or think of it this way: we want your words to be the bricks and the citations to be the mortar. We want your words to be the bricks and citations to be the mortar, meaning we want to hear from you and what your arguments are, but support them with quotations, the citations. Explain the significance of cited material, which means you provide context. You know, Brett Favre was a great quarterback. He said this about football. Give what he said, and then say the reason this quote was included happens to be that so on and so forth. Provide the significance. Show us why the quote is there. And as always, please avoid plagiarism, which means you've cited things correctly. Summaries, paraphrases, quotations. Quotations have to be cited. Paraphrases should be cited. Summaries, I would say, should be cited as well. All those should be, paraphrases, summaries should be cited. Let us know where they're coming from, though you don't have to give a page number for those technically. All right, so some general reminders. 3 sources in this comparison contrast paper is at least 6 citations. If you think about it this way, you could use 1 source per topic in each body paragraph, and then 2 citations per topic. Do it that way. And yes, you need to keep it as less than 10. We don't want to see more than 10 because at that point you're just cramming your paper with everybody else's words, not your own. No more than 1 block quotation. And like I said earlier, every source in your references page is in your paper and vice versa. Every source that's in your paper should be on your references page. So now that you've filled out this document for the session and during the session, please do go ahead and upload it. And those of you who watch this session through, you'll need to upload your document with any notes that you took on it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close